someone else who is trying to introduce you to a nutritional supplement, and we would strongly suggest that you get back with the person who recommended these webinars to you. We're not in the business of stealing or luring people in a different direction. However, if you just happen to stumble upon these webinars and you don't have anybody to guide you, well, one of the things we do is to help direct you to where you can get good quality supplements. So you can contact us after the call, after the webinar, and we'll be sure to direct you to someone or someplace, a company that has, if it's a food-based vitamin mineral, for example, they are looking for. We do know companies that provide that, so we can help shorten your search time. But again, if you had someone else who suggested, who introduced you to the webinars, to get back with them first. And of course, you can contact us. If you registered for these webinars, you will probably be getting a couple of emails after this call in addition, and you can always press the reply button and it will come back to us.
That's right. Boy, we're getting already 7:30 here in Pacific. How about one last question? You talked earlier about the BMI. Somebody was asking what about the BMR, the basal metabolic rate, and how does that relate to BMI?
BMI stands for body mass index. Basal metabolic rate talks about, it refers to your metabolism. They are not necessarily related. However, if your metabolic rate is well primed and it's working, you have a good metabolic rate, then chances are good that your body mass index or your amount of fat in your body will be lower. People who are fatter and obese are notoriously have a low BMR. Steve?
Yeah, and I think that relates to Dr. Broda Barnes that wrote a book about the thyroid and a lot of the basal thermometers to measure, under underarm temperatures. And I don't know how accurate it is, but it's one way of being able to measure your metabolism. And if you do it on a consistent basis, and women need to do it at a time when it's not the ovulation time period or time when they're menstruating, in between there. And so there's a chart you can just chart yourself, and it's 1 degree lower than oral temperature typically is what's normal for basal metabolic rate temperature. So if you're hypothyroid or hyper, then that rate is going to be typically higher or lower, typically lower with hypothyroidism. And so 97.6 is typically the normal level. And if you're below that consistently over a period of 5, 6, 7 days, and you got to get it while you're still in bed. You cannot be up and moving around because that's going to raise your body temperature. So that's typically what we refer to when they refer to the basal metabolic rate.
Wow, that's great information.
Great stuff.
Just one last reminder, that chart, David, that you made that's really great, that explains the different hormones and things. For everybody, if you want, there's a link on our homepage. You can just click on that, and it'll bring up another page. You can just print that out.
Great. Well, Sherry, again, thank you. I know you've had a really busy day, and I know you've had meetings and all that, so thanks for helping out tonight.
My pleasure.
And Dr. Steve, man, what a difference you've made on this webinar. Thank you so much again for joining us on the webinar.
You're welcome. Yeah, thanks, Sherry. You, too, for being there. And Dr. David, I can't tell you, every time I see and look at the amount of information you put out is just incredible. And an hour and a half is a short time. It just flies right by. So glad to be here and glad to contribute. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, we appreciate you. And folks, thank you again for hanging with us, and hopefully you've learned a few things. And we'll be sending out information soon on the next webinars. So if we don't see you before then, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. God bless. Yes. Have a great weekend.
Thanksgiving.
Have a nice Thanksgiving. Good night.
Night.
Night.